Hello and welcome to episode 6 of Unemployed to Unstoppable with Cove Rangers up in Scotland. It's a match of tactics. After the last episode, 10 games in, it wasn't going particularly well. We've had a bit of a tactics review, which you can see on the screen, so we'll get into what kind of changes we made, if we made any other kind of transfers of players. We're past the January transfer window, and we've got about 12 to 14 games to go before the end of the season, still in both cups. So let's get in and see how we're getting on. Welcome back. So, following our last episode where we'd finished on a 1-1 draw with Green at Morton, we played another game under the same formation against Partick Thistle, where we got a 1-1 draw. Atete finally scoring his first league goal of the season. That's where we sparked a formation change, which we'll take you through after the results have been summarised. And our fortunes turned a little bit. We managed to get a 2-1 win against Hamilton, Teesdale with goal, and Jake Garrett with the penalty. Dunfermline Athletic we beat 3-2, Atete getting a goal, Harkness with an own goal and Young, a 1-1 draw with St Mirren, a 1-0 loss at St Johnstone again, but it was another one of the games that we largely dominated, O'Neill getting a goal towards the end, which was a bit unfortunate on us. We beat Cali Thistle 2-1, 2 goals from Garrett, who's benefited from the formation change, which we'll take you through shortly. Wraith Rovers a 1-0 loss. Again in the Championship. In the Scottish Cup, we got a 3-1 win at St Johnstone. Bragg with a goal, and Fonku and Garrett, which was quite a big victory for us. A 1-1 draw with Ross County, Garrett with another goal. Elgin City in the KDM Evaluation Trophy. We got Young, Garrett, and Montsma getting some goals in a 4-1 victory. A 0 with Morton, a 0-0 with Partick Thistle. We then went on to beat Dunfermline Athletic with a goal from Garrett and a goal from Atike. And then a back-to-back hat-tricks for Atike with a 5-2 win at St Mirren and a 4-1 away win at Edinburgh City in the KDM Evolution Trophy. Hamilton beat us 1-0 in their ground, and then in the Scottish Cup we had an extra time 2-1 victory over Ayr, which means we remain in that competition. Atete with another goal, Turner with a goal in the 98th minute for extra time, and then Atete got a goal and a consolation against St Johnstone in the previous match. So we've got a run-in of about, it might be 12 games left in the league. In both cups, in the KDM we've got Ross County, which is the next match, and in the Scottish Cup we've got Livingston. In terms of the tactics themselves, we'll just take you through that now. And essentially what we've done is we've gone to a tiki-taka style rather than a kind of a fluid or direct counter-attack in football. In terms of the in-possession tactics, what we've done is we've gone 2 defensive midfielders where we previously had one, but what we've done is push a midfield further up to kind of play off a TK. Give him a little bit more support up there, but also give us an extra goal threat. So we've got 4 players in that attacking third, a little bit more defensive solidity, the same back 4, which isn't too bad. So that's in possession, vertical tiki-taka, team instructions are as so short passing, lower tempo, narrow play, counter-attacking, more expressive, not so much time wasting, and playing for set pieces it currently stands. And that's where the players move through the certain areas. But I think in terms of balance, it's not too bad. We've not been getting ripped apart when we lose. We've been scoring a few more goals. So it's been highly beneficial. In terms of out of possession, it's a little bit disjointed to a degree, because rather than that attacking midfielder going from the attacking space into the defensive space, which is quite a big change, it's kind of a 3-way switch to kind of get back in that formation. And what we've done is we've left the wingers slightly further forward. Last time in the previous tactic, which we've got on here, we would bring them slightly deeper. What that largely meant is they were quite unfamiliar with the role, and in terms of the balance of the team and the effectiveness, it was reduced somewhat. So I think it's been slightly better in those respects. And in possession, what we're doing is we're getting Garrett normally slightly further forward. He's playing defensive at the minute, but getting him more involved at that kind of upper third area alongside Atete has been hugely beneficial. So that's what we've done in terms of the tactics. It has been more beneficial in terms of the results. Transfer-wise, I don't think we've really done anything. If I just get into the recruitment, still navigating my way around, and we want the transfer history, I don't think there might have been a player leave. So Fivey's finally agreed to go, which is massive. So he's got a transfer arranged to go to Rothless, which is great. Again, Montsma and Garrett were the last 2 players to come in who've got the highest average ratings and are 2 of the best players at the club. But in terms of the squad itself, I think it's fairly balanced, to be honest. I don't think there's much I would particularly change about it. There are a lot of contracts coming up in the summer, and lots of them players. I mean, it's half the squad again. So the 3 lone players are in there. Kai Kennedy, who's not first team, wants away. Gilchrist wants away. McGrattan's not good enough anymore. McGlynn wants away. Turner doesn't want to be here. Gilligan and Ranchwell I'd maybe want to keep in terms of a little bit of squad rotation, and then Rowley and Bellant Demas wants away, so they will probably all go. I'm not looking at really offering any of them a contract. The more important players are all on for a year after that, so that's what we're going to do. We're kind of going to coast towards the end of the season, see where we are, and I think until we start getting a consistent rating of potential and ability players where it's a bit more balanced, every time we're replacing a certain number of players in the squad, they're going to become less viable in terms of the ability and potential, and it's a case of moving them on and bringing someone else in. So that's where we are. I'll get through and I'll get into the next games. I'll update you as we go along, like we did towards the end of the last season we played. And in terms of the league position, just before we get into them final few games, if I can find the league position, because it's again one of them ones that I can't always naturally get to straight away. Cove Rangers, the Championship, we're in 5th. So we're in 5th. There's a playoff spot where St Mirren are, and we're only 2 points outside that. So the goal really now is, when there's only 3 points to 3rd, is to see if we can just eke into one of them 2 playoffs. Maybe not to necessarily win it. I mean, we'll always do our best, but just to kind of be competing up the top end rather than the bottom end. We are only 7 points away from them relegation spots, so we've got to be a bit careful of that. But in terms of the form where we're going, I think it could be a potentially good run towards the end of the season. So without much further ado, let's get into it and see where we finish. And a second goal of the game for Kian Etete. He puts us 2-0 up against Ross County away in the KDM Evolution Trophy. Lovely little flick finish into the bottom corner, and the cup run may continue. And Kian Etete has just completed his 3rd hat-trick in 4 games. A header from a corner, just flicked forward and helped on into that top left-hand corner, following back where the keeper came from. But paying faith in him and playing him the number of games is paying off, as he hits his 3rd hat-trick in 4 games and takes his tally up into the 20s. I think it might be 19 or 20. So really good return from him this season. Can it continue? And a very damaging result away at Calais Thistle, slipping to a 4-1 defeat following our cup heroics where Etete had a hat-trick. He did get a consolation goal in this goal, but again we were 4-0 down by that point in a much rotated side. But really damaging one, that one, in terms of the table. I think that brings them within a point of us. So starting to move down a bit. We're still not too far. We're only 4 points from 3rd place, but again, we need to kind of find some of that cup form and bring it to the league if we're going to push on and maybe grab ourselves a late playoff position. So work to do, but we'll keep going. And we are into the last 2 penalties in the cup game against Livingston. We've got them through extra time. Good lift with a penalty. Gets it in the top corner. Puts us ahead on the night. So it's all pressure on Livingston now. They've got to score to keep it going and get it going to sudden death. But keeper saved one. He's got a chance of saving another. Can we truly make this a momentous season in terms of the cup runs? We're still in the KDM Trophy as well, but it would be nice to get past Livingston. Mendes Gomez stepping up, and he's hit the crossbar. Cove Rangers live to fight another day. We go into another round of the cup. We still got the KDM. We're still in with a shout getting to the playoffs. Could this be a truly momentous season for the mighty Cove Rangers? And Lewis McGrattan with some absolutely fantastic work down the right hand side has just put us 2-0 up away at Ross County, and what could be a huge victory in terms of points at the top end of the table. Getting us some points against a team not many other teams will. So massive goal from McGrattan there, playing on the right hand side, and let's see if we can secure the points and get the three climb up the table. And very quickly after, where it looked like Ross County were going to try and put some pressure on us for an equaliser, Garrett's picked up the ball in that just behind the number 9 roll, and he's fired a lovely shot into the left hand side of the goal to put us 3-0 up, and surely that is the point secure. Let's move on to the next games. And we're back in off another key victory, 3-1 at home to Greenock Morton. Goals for Nfonku, Young, Turner, just sticking another 3 points on the board and climbing us up the table. We're now within 1 point of Wraith Rovers in that 4th spot for the playoffs. Only 2 points behind St Mirren. nowhere near St Johnstone and Ross County have run away with it, but more games to come. Can we just creep in there? I think we've got an outside chance. And an absolutely thumping away win over Partick Thistle, a 4-0, Etete with a goal, got Turner, Etete with another and Turner again. So some really good goals in there. Another 4-0 win, 3 points, puts us on level pegging with Wraith Rovers. We're now in that final playoff spot, so us, St Mirren, it's really annoying this table. Wraith Rovers, Cove Rangers and St Mirren all on 41 points. Only a few more games to go, but we are in the mix. We're in the KDM Cup final as well. After beating Montrose, we're still in the Scottish Cup, and this has turned out to be a magnificent season. After what was quite a slow start after the transfer window, but players like Etete have really bedded in, starting to hit the heights that we expected them to. And can we end the season potentially with a trophy? And Ryan Bradley getting I think it's his first goal for the club actually, getting his first goal in an away game against Dunfermline. Strike from the edge of the box, just escapes the keeper's grasp and in off the post to put us ahead in another pivotal match in the season. We didn't quite get the 3 points, it was very close. 89th minute equaliser from Dunfermline, so we eke away with an away point. It keeps us in that third position on 42, 1 point ahead of Wraith Rovers. Hugely beneficial because we were able to rest a number of players from the first team squad. So McGlynn getting a run out up front, a couple centre halves getting a rest, young Ryan Bradley coming at left back to give Towler a bit of a rest. So all in all, hugely beneficial. Still get a point away from home, but we're going to have to get the first team back in for the next match and try and eke out a couple points just to cement our place in the playoffs to make it a truly successful season. And yet another victory. This time we've had a home win against East Kilbride in the Scottish Cup, which pushes us through to the semi-finals where we will play Heart of Midlothian. So we've got a cup final against St Johnstone to look forward to, a semi-final against Hearts, and we've got a run-in of 6 championship games where we're currently still in the chase for a potential playoff position. We can't go up automatically, but it's certainly getting to the meat of it. Form is looking good, and Fonku's come from nowhere on the left-hand side to really start banging in some goals. Let's see how far we can take it this season. Jake Garrett with some good work down the left-hand side and a fantastic strike into the far corner. Puts us 1-0 up at home to St Mirren. Maybe we can get a little bit of an edge on the playoffs, but certainly carrying the form into the next game. Let's continue. And unfortunately we fell behind 2-1 to St Mirren. However, Etete on a 3-ball from Renell Young slides a lovely finish into the bottom right hand corner to make it 2-2 and keep the hopes of the playoff dream alive. So let's keep it going, see if we can finish off the game with a win. Only 24 minutes in, 2-2. And we have had to come back from a goal down again. St Mirren getting 3-2 ahead. Rowley with some strong work down the right hand side, getting into Garrett in the middle of the box, who picks up a loose finish just to slot into an empty net. So there's about 15 minutes to go. We really need the 3 points. A point's not the end of the world, but let's see if we can get this one over the line. And despite Garrett hitting the post in the 92nd minute, we were unable to get the victory. But 3-3, not the end of the world. We get a point. We keep marching on. I think we've got 4 games to go. Let's see how we end at the end of the season. And we made a big decision and rested a lot of players for the first of 2 games against St Johnstone. The first in a league game, which finished 0-0, which still isn't a bad result considered the rested players. However, it has dropped us out of the playoff places into 5th spot. 2 points behind St Mirren, who got a 4-3 win at Hamilton. And Wraith Rovers has pulled a little bit away from us now, 4 points clear with I think 3 games to go. Reason we rested players, we've got the cup final next against St Johnstone, so we've got a 0-0 with a weakened side. They played quite a strong side. Can we just give ourselves the edge in the cup final, which I think is our best chance at really kind of winning something, because I'm not sure how well we would get on in the playoffs anyway if we were facing a Ross County perhaps. So we'll move on, we'll get to the cup final, we'll hopefully get some goals in there, maybe get a positive result. Still got the semi-final of the Scottish Cup to come, and we've also got the running in the league, which I think the fixtures aren't looking terrible in terms of the league. We've got Inverness, Cali Thistle, Wraith Rovers, who are one of the rivals, and Ross County. So if we could get 6 from 9, maybe we'd have an outside chance of just squeaking in there. A big game against Hearts in there, and then how the cup final goes. But lots to unpack in this final little portion of the episode. Hopefully we can get a trophy over the line. I'd really like us to try and get into the playoffs. I know it's a lot to grab, and we just slipped into a little bit of form now after the back of a huge number of wins. We've slipped into a few draws in quick succession, albeit against some really big sides, but it's time to kind of get the first team out there and really turn this around. Big push for the final 5 games of the season. So stick around and we will see if the mighty Cove Rangers can make some history. And here we go for the cup final. Starting lineup as follows. Davies in goals. The back four of the young Bradley. We've got Green, Montsma and Rooney making up the back four. Gilligan and Ferguson in the defensive roles. Turner playing in the advanced position because Garrett's needing to be rested. He's played a lot of games recently. And I think it's a bit of a risk leaving him out, but I think we really have to kind of protect him for the running at the same time. So he might feature in the game. We'll see how it goes. Teasdale coming in at the left-hand side. Ronell Young on the right. And Atete, who's breaking all the goal-scoring records this season. Despite not scoring for the first 10 games, will start up front. So we've had the team talks. We've hoping for a fairy tale finish to the season, hoping to get our grubby little mitts on the trophy. But let's see how the game pans out, and I'll bring you the goals as the match presents them. And unfortunately, we've fallen behind on the 7th minute. Corner for St Johnson. Barnes are driving it in. Mikulic heading a terrific header into the top corner, I must say. But a goal down early on in the game, and it's going to be a big digging deep to try and recover. And St Johnson have made it 2. Turnbull playing the ball over the top. Ollie O'Neill taking a touch and just kind of flicking it over the keeper. A bit of a tame one to give away, really. Puts us 2 down. We've got a number of players with yellow cards on the bench who I think we're going to withdraw at half time. We're probably going to get some more attacking threat in the midfield put on. But game drifting away from us, and it looks like all this run to the cup final is going to end in a bit of disappointment. Still a successful season regardless, but it's going to take something spectacular in the second half if we're going to get back in this game. And let's just pause the trophy ceremony just yet. Long ball over the top by Gilligan to Atete. He takes a lovely first touch to flick it past the keeper to bring us a goal back. It's only 2-1, and we've got nearly 30 minutes to play. So come on, bring it on. Oh, I had my head in my hands. No sooner we got back into the game, but we very quickly give a goal away. Boney with a quick touch into Turnbull. He flicks it past the keeper, restoring a 2-goal lead. And I think it might be all over by the singing in the ceremony. So it was exciting for a minute, but I think it's just petered out. And we managed to get another goal back in injury time, but I think it's too little too late. We've already played the 93 minutes. I think this is just going to be a consolation. Atete getting another goal to his tally for the season. But I think it's just about to be the final whistle. And it finished 3-2. So runners up in the KDM Evolution Trophy. Not our year this year, but we'll be in it again, I'm sure. A little bit disappointed that we couldn't get it over the line. I think we put up a good fight. A couple early goals put us on the back foot, but 3-2 is a respectable score against the team who are one of the runaways at the top of the table. And we'll regroup. We'll go for the league games, and we'll see if we can make our way into the playoffs and have another bit of excitement before the end of the episode. And here we are at the final game of the season there with an outside chance of making it into the playoffs. We're doing it kind of the hard way. We've got a victory against Wraith Rovers has brought us within touching distance. However, St Mirren won to move 2 points clear of us. Final game of the season we've got against Ross County, who are top of the league, playing for that promotion spot themselves against St Johnstone, so they're going to be all fired up to get 3 points. We need a win, and we need Wraith Rovers or St Mirren to slip up somewhere to let us sneak into that final position. In terms of the Scottish Cup semi-final against Hearts, we fell to a 1-0 defeat. It was close. We did have a goal disallowed, but I mean, ultimately they were all over us. It was one-way traffic for most of the game. How they weren't 3 or 4 up, I don't know. But getting to the semi-final has got us a lot of money, and it's been a season of huge success in terms of the league position and both cups, which has generated huge funds moving forward, which can only be good as we move into the transfer window. But this is the last little push of the season, the final game. I'll bring you the goals as they go in. Can we get up ahead and just nick some points against Ross County? Maybe sneak into the playoffs for an outside chance of promotion to the SPSFL. So let's get into it and see what we can do. And the first goal goes to Cove Rangers. Rowley down the right hand side playing a lovely ball into the box. Hits a couple of players, but just Garrett gets in there in amongst the little crowd and slots it into the back of the net. So 1-0 up to the Cove, half an hour in. Just need to hold on to a clean sheet now. And we find ourselves 2-1 down on the 70th minute. Ball over the top. Cole takes a touch. Initially saved, but the follow-up falls to a Ross County player. And we are now a goal behind with 20 minutes to go. And it looks like the playoff dream is just about faded away to nothing. And that's how it ended. So 2-1 defeat on the final day of the season. And our last hope to try and eke our way into the playoffs leaves us finishing 5th place just behind Wraith Rovers. So Rovers, Mirren and St Johnstone will go into the playoffs. Ross County getting promoted off the back of that victory, which they would have fallen down to second had they not. So they've done what they needed to do today. In spite of what we were needing. But I think in terms of the season as a whole, first season in the Championship, finishing fifth is quite a good feat. I think in terms of the squad, we've got some really good players in terms of Itete. We've got Davies the goalkeeper, we've got Montsma the centre half, and we've got some good central midfielders in there with Alex Ferguson. So what we need to do is make sure we keep the likes of them, we keep the Jake Garretts of the squad, and we move forward and we try and rebuild for next season. So I'll just quickly click through until we get to the end of season review, so we can have a quick look at the fixtures, how we did, and a couple of players how they did for the season. But yeah, I think in summary, it's been quite a good season, exceeding the expectations of what the predictions were, and it gives us a really good foothold and financial boost for moving into the first real stab at trying to get up from the Championship. And I've not seen anything come through in terms of end of season reviews, but we'll just quickly rattle through how things have gone. This squad looks particularly decimated at the minute. Loan players have gone, and the players who've reached the end of the contract have left the club. In terms of the most appearances for the club last season, Harvey Davies, he was in the media Dream 11 for goalkeepers, so there's no surprise he featured for us a huge extent of the game. 6.85 average, he's at a 4.5 star, so he's been really key for us. You can see next in terms of goals scored, Kian Atete, who we've just managed to offer a new contract to get him for another 2 years, and he's agreed to it, which is massive because we're struggling to keep Jake Garrett at the club. Atete scored a huge number of goals for us last season, only 15 in the league, but he didn't score for the first 10 games, so if we can get him for a full season firing, that's going to be pivotal towards any success we have in terms of the league position. In terms of the assists, not really found the golden ticket there, but Jake Garrett, 16 goals and 9 assists from that central midfield position. I'll be doing everything I possibly can to get him to stay for one more season, because I think he's particularly key into the way we play in that advanced midfield role. So if we can get Atete, Garrett, Montsma and Davies as our kind of spine and build around that, I think we're on for a really good season. Supplement that with some really high class loan players, and that's what next episode's going to be about. Is we can probably make a really strong squad moving forward from this. We've got some under-19s to pick from and introduce to this as well. But yeah, all in all, the squad's done really well. Montsma, who played at centre half, had a really good season. He's 30 now, but we've got another season of him. A really good average for the league, and I think that kind of spine's going to be what sets us forward. In terms of the actual league performance and the results for the season, a bit of a slow start, took us a while to get going. Friendlies were all right initially, and then it just really took us a while to get going in terms of the league. Really struggled at the beginning part of the season, and that's probably what made the difference between making the playoffs and not. Once it all started clicking towards the end of the season, and our best patch you can see there was in February, and Fonku playing particularly well, Atete getting some goals. Atete got back-to-back hat-tricks at some point in the season as well. So there you go. In fact, it was against St Mirren and Edinburgh. Once he got going, he was really, really, truly up and running. I mean, in terms of the competitions themselves, finally the KDM Trophy, which we were narrowly beat on. I think it was 3-2 in the end, against St Johnstone. Getting to the Scottish Cup semi-final and getting beat by Hearts only 1-0. That's a really credible result as well. And missing out on the playoffs in our first season by what I think was just a point or two in the end. 1 point behind Wraith Rovers. That's the frustrating part of it. It looks like Wraith Rovers might have won the playoffs or be in the playoff final. Yeah, just 1 point outside of there. We really need to make some inroads because we're a good 24 points off them kind of top spots, and that's where we want to be. So we're going to look for a really strong transfer window in the next episode, see if we can get there. In the meantime, you never know, we might get some kind of job offer in the top division come through. Nothing's come through in the mail so far, but we'll see it. So I'll draw stumps on the episode there. We'll see how we get on through the summer. I'll see you for the next episode as we go through the transfer window, and can we get the Mighty Cove Rangers from a really consolidatory season in the Championship and get them turned around, added to the right kind of players, and make a real push next season. So look forward to seeing you next time round. Hopefully we can get it over the line, and I'll see you soon.